There is a peculiar stillness that blankets the world when we close our eyes. As we drift into the silent, dark embrace of sleep, we surrender not just our bodies, but the chaos of our waking lives. Sleep is an act of letting go, a surrender to something far beyond our control. Yet, in this vulnerability lies the potential for immense growth, if we allow ourselves to reflect on it. The very nature of sleep, its silent invitation to disconnect, offers a profound insight into how we face adversity, emotional turmoil, and the human condition itself. Buddhism teaches us that life is transient, ever shifting like the waters of a river. Each night, when we close our eyes, we experience a small death, a temporary dissolution of our physical selves. And in that moment of detachment, we confront the raw, undisturbed state of our being. What happens when we sleep is more than mere rest. It's a mirror to our struggles, fears, and hopes. We may not be conscious of it, but sleep reflects the teachings of Zen, a journey inward, where peace is found not through control, but through surrender. Let's explore what happens in the depth of night when our minds rest, and how these moments offer us lessons for life's deepest challenges. 1. The illusion of control. When we fall asleep, we relinquish control. No longer can we dictate the direction of our thoughts or shield ourselves from dreams that may expose our vulnerabilities. This act mirrors life itself, where much of what we cling to, our desires, ambitions, and fears, is illusory. In sleep, we are reminded that control is an illusion, a fleeting comfort that vanishes as easily as we close our eyes. Buddhism teaches that suffering arises from attachment. The more we grasp at control, the tighter suffering binds us. But in the stillness of sleep, when the mind lets go, there is a glimpse of freedom. We begin to understand that peace is not found by forcing life into submission, but by allowing it to unfold naturally. Just as the night descends without our bidding, life too will flow, whether or not we attempt to steer its course. The Buddha once said, "Let go of the past, let go of the future, let go of the present, and cross over to the farther shore of existence. With the mind wholly liberated, you shall come no more to birth and death." In this surrender, this detachment from control, we find a profound strength. 2. The dance with shadows. As we drift into dreams, we encounter our shadows, the suppressed fears, anxieties, and desires that we may avoid in our waking hours. Dreams are often chaotic, reflecting the inner turmoil we have not yet resolved. In Buddhism, the concept of Mara represents the forces of fear, temptation, and delusion that keep us bound to suffering. In our sleep, Mara manifests as nightmares or restless dreams, reminding us of the work still to be done in our waking lives. But there is beauty in facing these shadows. Sleep teaches us that no matter how dark or terrifying our dreams may be, they are temporary. We awake, we breathe, and the night passes. This cyclical process mirrors the Buddhist understanding of suffering, acknowledging that pain is inevitable but impermanent. As we confront the shadows in our dreams, we are reminded that facing our fears is a necessary step toward liberation. Zen invites us to sit with our discomfort, to observe without attachment. In the words of Thich Nhat Hanh, fear keeps us focused on the past or worried about the future. If we can acknowledge our fear, we can realize that right now, we are okay. 3. The empty space between. Between the moments of sleep and wakefulness, there is a space of stillness, a void where time seems to dissolve. It is in this emptiness that we touch the essence of Zen, where the mind is not cluttered with thoughts, plans, or regrets. This space is a rare glimpse into the nature of non-attachment, where the self dissolves and we are left with only being. This emptiness, often feared as a void, is the very heart of peace. When we sleep, we temporarily lose our sense of identity, the roles we play, the masks we wear. Buddhism teaches that the self is an illusion, a construct we create to navigate the world. In sleep, this construct fades, and we experience the beauty of emptiness, a state where we are no longer defined by our past or future. In this space, we find what Zen calls satori, a moment of sudden enlightenment. It is a brief, fleeting experience where we understand that peace is not found in things or achievements, but in simply being. As Dogen, a great Zen master, taught, "Do not follow the ideas of others, but learn to listen to the voice within yourself. Your body and mind will become clear, and you will realize the unity of all things." 4. The passing of time. When we sleep, hours slip by unnoticed. What feels like moments could be an entire night's passage, reminding us of the transient nature of time. This unconscious flow reflects a profound Buddhist truth, anicca, the impermanence of all things. In sleep, we experience the dissolution of our grasp on time, and in doing so, we touch the core of what it means to be alive. Time, like water, slips through our fingers. In waking life, we often scramble to manage it, fearing its passage, dreading our aging or the decay of the things we cherish. But the truth is that everything is in constant motion. Nothing stays the same, not even the self we cling to so desperately. Sleep, as an act of surrender, teaches us to let go of our attachment to time. When we wake up, we might feel that we've missed something, a part of the day, an opportunity. But in reality, what we have missed is nothing more than an illusion we never truly had control over. In the words of the Buddha, nothing is forever except change. The cycles of sleep and wakefulness are a daily reminder that every moment is fleeting and every experience is transient. We are encouraged to embrace this impermanence, not as a source of fear, but as a wellspring of liberation. To be present in the now, without clinging to the past or fearing the future, is the heart of Buddhist practice. 5. Renewal through surrender. Sleep is not just rest, it is a process of renewal. Our bodies heal, our minds reset, and we awaken with a fresh perspective, if we allow ourselves to. This act of surrender to the night mirrors the Buddhist path to enlightenment. By releasing our grip on what we think we are, our identities, our sufferings, our desires, we create space for something new to emerge. In our waking hours, we often fight against the flow of life, trying to control its outcomes or resist its changes. But when we sleep, we let go completely, allowing our bodies and minds to be renewed without interference. This is an echo of the Buddhist practice of letting go, upadana, of grasping. To hold tightly is to invite suffering. To release is to invite growth and transformation. Buddhism teaches us that we are in a constant state of becoming. Just as we cannot remain in a perpetual state of wakefulness, we cannot cling to a static sense of self. In each moment of sleep, we symbolically die to the old self and awaken as something new. This continuous process of renewal is a reminder that life is fluid, and only by embracing that fluidity can we truly grow. As Shunryu Suzuki once said, "In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities, but in the expert's mind, there are few." Sleep is a return to the beginner's mind, a space where we shed the old and prepare ourselves for new possibilities. 6. The peace beyond desire. In sleep, we are free from the relentless pursuit of desires that consume our waking hours. The mind, at rest, is no longer driven by the cravings for material wealth, status, or validation. In this space, we experience a kind of peace that eludes us in our conscious lives, a peace that is at the very core of Zen practice. Desire is a primary cause of suffering, as taught in the Four Noble Truths. We spend much of our lives chasing after things that we believe will make us happy, only to find that the satisfaction is fleeting. In sleep, however, we are released from this chase. We are not striving for anything. We are simply being. This temporary reprieve from desire gives us a taste of the freedom that Buddhism promises. Zen practice encourages us to cultivate this state of desirelessness in our waking lives, to be content with what is, rather than what could be. When we sleep, we get a glimpse of this peace, even if only for a short time. It is a reminder that true happiness does not come from fulfilling every desire, but from releasing the need for desire altogether. The Buddha said, "Health is the greatest gift, contentment, the greatest wealth, faithfulness, the best relationship." In the stillness of sleep, we find contentment without striving, reminding us that peace is within our reach if we can let go of our endless pursuits. 7. The unseen journey. When we sleep, we embark on a journey that is invisible to the outside world. No one can witness the inner workings of our dreams or the silent processing of our emotions and thoughts. Yet, this journey is as real and important as anything we experience during the day. It is a journey inward, toward the self, where we confront our deepest fears, desires, and truths. This invisible journey mirrors the path of enlightenment in Buddhism, which is often a solitary and internal process. Just as no one can walk the path of awakening for us, no one can experience our sleep. It is a personal pilgrimage, one that requires courage and introspection. In Zen, the process of self-realization is not about reaching an external goal, but about looking within. The journey we undertake each night when we sleep is a reflection of the journey we must take in life. We must be willing to face ourselves, to confront the unknown within, and to trust that this journey, though unseen, is leading us toward greater wisdom and understanding. As the Buddha said, "No one saves us but ourselves. No one can and no one may. We ourselves must walk the path." Sleep is a metaphor for this path, a reminder that the most important journeys are the ones that happen within. 8. The cycle of life and death. Each night, as we sleep, we experience a small death, a temporary cessation of our conscious awareness. In many ways, sleep is a rehearsal for the ultimate transition, reminding us of the impermanence of life and the inevitability of death. But within this cycle of life and death, there is also renewal. Just as we die to the day, we are reborn with the dawn. Buddhism teaches that life is a continuous cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, samsara. Sleep, with its daily cycles of unconsciousness and awakening, reflects this truth. It is a gentle reminder that death is not the end, but a transformation, a passage into something new. Each night we let go of the day, and each morning we are given a new beginning. This cycle is not something to fear, but something to embrace. The Zen master Taisen Deshimaru said, "To die is to live, and to live is to die. There is nothing more." In sleep, we touch the mystery of life and death, and we are reminded that every ending is also a beginning. In the stillness of night, as we lay our heads to rest, we unknowingly enter a space where Zen's deepest truths are at play. Sleep is more than just a physiological necessity. It is a teacher, a silent guide that mirrors life's most profound lessons. It strips us of the illusions we build during the day, our sense of control, our identity, our desires, and gently invites us to confront what remains beneath. When we sleep, we experience the impermanence that Buddhism so deeply speaks of. Time passes, our dreams dissolve, and each night, we are reminded of the cyclical nature of existence. In that dark space, we face our shadows, our fears, and yet we emerge, renewed and ready to face another day. This cycle reflects the ebb and flow of life itself, the ongoing balance between suffering and peace, between birth and death. But what sleep offers us is not just rest. It offers us a momentary glimpse of liberation. In those hours where the ego dissolves and desires fade, we experience a fleeting taste of Zen's ultimate goal, peace through non-attachment. This is the heart of emotional resilience, the ability to face the darkest parts of ourselves, to let go of what we cannot control, and to awaken each day with the strength to continue forward. The Buddha said, "All things appear and disappear because of the concurrence of causes and conditions. Nothing ever exists entirely alone. Everything is in relation to everything else." Sleep, too, reminds us of this interconnectedness. Just as the night gives way to day and the unconscious to consciousness, so too do our lives flow through cycles of growth, hardship, and renewal. We are not separate from these experiences, but are shaped by them, just as water shapes the shore. In the end, Sleep reflects the wisdom of the path we walk in life. It invites us to surrender, not as a sign of weakness, but as a path to inner strength. It shows us that peace is not found in the absence of suffering, but in our ability to let go of what weighs us down. And, most importantly, it reminds us that every night, no matter how dark, leads to the dawn. As we embrace this truth, we realize that the peace we seek is already within us. It is there, in the silent hours of sleep, in the quiet spaces between thoughts, and in the steady rhythm of our breath. We only need to be still enough to hear it. By understanding what happens when we sleep, we are given a blueprint for living with greater peace, resilience, and emotional fortitude. Through letting go, we find strength. Through surrender, we find renewal. And through embracing the dark, we find the light. So, as we close our eyes tonight, let us remember that sleep is not merely an escape, but a sacred space. A space where we can release the burdens of the day, renew our minds and bodies, and awaken with a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. Let it remind us that peace is not something we chase, but something we allow ourselves to become.